Realtors, people in the real estate industry, are calling your family and your friends who have lost everything to buy their plots of land?
It is disgusting. We have real estate investors and speculators going around calling our victims, offering to give them cash and buy their property. It is disgusting. It's a land grab. And I know that our Lahaina community, we are resilient and we will do whatever it takes to protect Lahaina.
And that's one of the big concerns as they search for the missing and the dead, is that Lahaina doesn't lose its spirit, right? That people from the outside don't come and rebuild and turn it into a tourist mecca.
We've already been displaced enough, and we plan to have a seat at the table in rebuilding Lahaina and ensuring that the rich cultural history of Lahaina is protected and that the multi-generational families get to come back home.
Some of the things that's already been happening is realtors are calling families who lost everything, offering them to buy their property and their home for pennies on the dollar, just pennies on the dollar. So it's pretty offensive to us that people won't even give us the time to grieve properly. And people's mental health has been diminished in all of this. They've lost everything. People have lost family members. And for them to have that disrespect to come in and already try and buy things up is out of control.
So let me get this straight. They don't want us to believe that there's something more to this story about these Maui wildfires, yet they are going above and beyond to make it appear as if there's something more to this story about the Maui wildfires. I mean, the Maui emergency chief resigned in the middle of an emergency. It's your job to take care of these emergencies, and you resign mid-emergency after you said, I don't regret not sounding the alarm. I don't regret not putting off the emergency, alarm system. What? So you got this guy stepping down. You got all of these stories about law enforcement blocking people from leaving. And these rich investors are wasting no time. They're already calling people trying to buy their land. I can't say their homes because their homes are gone. So they're already offering these people chump change in exchange for their land. And from what I'm hearing, it's like these residents of this area are being choked out. We're seeing reports that, they're getting so much help, but in reality, it's like the help that they're supposed to be getting, it has to go through certain outlets, and it seems as if these outlets aren't doing their job at distributing like everything that these people need. They're blocking people from bringing in medicine, water, and food. From what I heard, there was a hotel that wanted to put up a bunch of the people who have been displaced, and instead FEMA was like, oh, you know what, never mind those people. Instead, you're going to house our workers. There's just so much going on down here. And like I said, I didn't come into this story to, thinking one thing or another necessarily. I'm just like, at this point, what do you want people to think? What do you want people to think? I don't believe in all of the conspiracies that are floating around, but I understand why they are. Because when you look at this situation, it looks like these people failed the people of Maui purposely. And still, at this point, they're not getting the help they need, but those phone calls are coming in. Oh, the relief, the food, the water, the medical supplies, that's not coming in, but those phone calls are coming in, trying to buy the land. And think about it. It's like they want these people to feel as desperate as possible. They want your back up against the wall. They want to make this situation as grueling and as, as strenuous and as heartbreaking as possible. They want you to feel desperate. So when that phone rings and someone offers you a little change, you're like, I gotta take it. I gotta take this money while I can because I lost everything. And it appears as if, no one's going to help us. And the people who are supposed to help us are blocking us from getting help. So it's a messed up situation. And from the outside looking in, depending on where you're getting information from, you may see a whole different picture. If you're listening to the people who actually live in this area, then you have an idea about how bad it is. But if you're listening to the official narrative, you think that these people are getting a lot more help than what they're getting. But I want to go ahead and play this clip real quick so you can hear more from people who live in the area, and then I'll be right back with more thoughts.
I just wanted to come on here and say, do not believe what is being told on the news. 86 casualties is not true. The actual count is estimated somewhere between 500 and 1,000 people. People were not informed except for 5 minutes before they had to evacuate. And this was via a cell phone message, an emergency alert. Our town has evacuation sirens for tsunami installed that are working, actively working, and they were not sounded. Children home from school while their parents worked. Our kapuna, who only have access to landlines. These are the people that they're pulling out of houses right now. That they're pulling out of rubble. Our whole town is gone. Our families are forever changed. And I go to load up its supplies to bring them into Lahaina to help out our family members that are still there. And there's tourists getting off the plane wearing puka shells. Do not come to Maui. Do not come to Maui. Cancel your trip. Now. You're snorkeling in the same waters that parents push their children out on life rafts, on paddle boards, on anything that would float so that they couldn't be burned. Parents that burn in the water 100 yards out.
Everyone on the ground down there, and I mean everyone, they're all saying the same thing, that the death toll is way higher than what's being reported. The mainstream media, they can't get their story correct. Every news outlet is reporting a different number. Some news outlets are reporting, various numbers throughout the day. And don't get me wrong, I understand the death toll rises. But you may watch the news at one point, the same station, and they'll be like 100 people are expected dead. And then you'll watch it later, and they'll be like 80 people. And it's like, wait, the number decreased? What's going on here? But in reality, I believe there's, at the very least, like 1,000 people missing. So, I mean, there's going to be a very high death toll here. And why they're not being 100% honest about that information, your guess is as good as mine. I guess they don't want it to look as bad as what it is. I think the higher the death toll, the more people start to pay attention, because that's just how the world works. You hear this high number, you're like, oh, wait, let me look into this. And I don't think they want people looking into this, because if you look into it, oh boy, if you look into it for 5 minutes, you start seeing some really weird stuff. You start hearing some really weird things from locals, and you start looking at all of the information that's been provided, and you really start asking questions. And I mean, it's obvious stuff like, hey, why did y'all cut the water off while these people were putting out the flames? Hey, why did you cut off every avenue that people could have taken to escape? Why did you direct people towards the flames? Why didn't you sound... There's just so much stuff. It's overwhelming, and I know that I don't even know everything yet. I know a small portion of what's going on down there. And everything I know so far, it's absolutely terrible. And I'm just having a hard time believing, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm going to say it. I have a very hard time believing at this point that all of this is just one big coincidence, that they failed these people on so many levels it's just pure coincidence. I don't know. It's almost hard. It's not almost, it's very hard to believe, because it's like anyone in their right mind would have made different decisions here, but they made all of the wrong decisions that led to more deaths than, it led to more people dying tragic deaths as opposed to escaping, just on every level. And it's just mind-boggling to think that people could be this stupid. And I really don't think that all of these people are that stupid. It just seems almost as if maybe some of these decisions were made purposely for whatever reason. But, it is what it is. Time and time again, we're going to keep seeing these catastrophes. We're going to keep finding out these weird details. We're going to keep seeing all of these people fail at their jobs. And I guess we're just not supposed to say anything about it. We're not supposed to recognize the pattern here. But let me know your thoughts down below. While you're down there, hit the thumbs up, hit that subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you all very soon in the next video.